This is Joey from JLD Travels coming back with a new video today. My next part of my airline review, and we'll actually be looking into my flight with Scoot, which was on, on the 1st of April. And without further ado, I'm just going to explain a little bit more about my time at Athens Airport. It was extremely pleasant. There was no issues at the airport at all. It was plain sailing through passport and customs. There was no issues there, and just the airport itself, you could go outside, get some air if you wanted to. Everything was very easily accessible, and all the staff that I came across, they were all friendly, helpful, much better than Manila Airport. And so without further ado, we're going to jump in and just go with my review of Scoot Airline on this portion of the journey. Obviously at Athens Airport, everything went through smoothly, going through customs and passport check and everything else. And Scoot itself, the check-in experience was fairly smooth. It wasn't that much long of a wait. The flight itself was TR713, and the staff there were absolutely fantastic, very polite, very courteous, and we're obviously happy that you're flying with them. And then obviously the boarding process, that all went on time. We all started boarding the plane, which was very awesome. I'm just going to quickly start this footage in the background. And yeah, so then obviously when we was going on to board the plane, the staff of Scoot were absolutely fantastic. Even though I'd seen some seriously horror stories with Scoot on YouTube and like online on Twitter and some other places, and I could not fault them. This portion of the journey was absolutely fantastic. It was really plain smoothing. The staff were really welcoming. They were very polite. They came around a lot more than the staff was with there, offering refreshments and things like that. And this particular portion of the flight, I had bought prior to that some pre-booked food and drink and some things like that. This portion was from Athens all the way through to Changi in Singapore, and we actually left on time, which was fantastic as well. And we actually even arrived in Singapore earlier than scheduled, which was even more fantastic. So this portion of the journey was absolutely great. And I think it was about 2 hours into the flight, they came around with our food, which was great. The food was no much different from some other airlines. It just obviously had slightly cheaper looking packaging that it was in. But in the most part, I think I even purchased another bottle of water on the plane, and it wasn't as expensive as Wizz Air. And yeah, the plain sailing pretty much through the whole flight. There was hardly any turbulence, luckily on this portion of the journey. And then I think we got into Changi Airport fairly smoothly, and just after dark. And didn't realise that upon landing you had to fill out basically this little form that apparently I was meant to give on the plane, but they didn't. Just basically for entering into Singapore, even though you weren't actually technically leaving the airport as such. So a very kind person helped me out with doing it on these, because they have like these really cool, like swanky, like tablet things, so you can do it there, and then they still let you into the country. What's really awesome, Changi Airport is probably one of my favourite airports. It's so state of the art. It's absolutely massive. The aircon was working fantastic. Outside was really hot. Obviously, as you can imagine, being an East Asian country, very, very humid. And first port of call after being on a flight that long was I had to go outside for a cigarette. It was absolutely tipping it down outside, so there was a few of us trying to hide from the rain, which was kind of funny. And yeah, so obviously got through customs and everything else absolutely fine. And what's really awesome is they have like this kind of like European style thing for like passports. So literally there was none of this having to stand this really long queue to basically have your passport physically checked. So I could literally put it into a scanner. It just scans the passport, knows who you are, lets you straight through. Then you go to obviously having all your bags and whatnot checked. Then we had to go obviously in a. Oh no, because obviously I had a connecting flight, so I didn't do this bit here. So I think we had, I think it was about 7 or 8 hours layover in Singapore. So literally, ended up this guy that was on my flight kind of sort of ended up attaching himself to me for some reason. I don't know why. It was a little bit creepy, if you ask me. So basically, I don't think he'd ever flown that far on his own before, even though that he was, I think he was late 50s or something like that. So I had a bit of a shadow during my time in Singapore, so I just kind of just let him follow me around and what can we call it? So he knew where he was going and everything else. But like the airport itself was so clean, it was so nice, so welcoming. The staff were fantastic, and when I was just like trying to pass my time, because eventually at some point I do actually want to go and visit Singapore and not just like be stopping at the airport. And a very kind person was like explaining about all these like really nice places to go to that are not necessarily like major touristy destinations. They're kind of sort of off the beaten track a little bit, which is nice. And I still got the leaflet I think he gave me somewhere. And then we came across this little bit. It's kind of, it looks like a bit like a bit of like some kind of like botanical garden kind of thing. And it had like this like thing to celebrate like 100 years of Disney. And I just went around taking like a load of photos and things like that. And they had like loads of areas to like go outside if you wanted to. And it's just such a nice, easy airport. Just like everything is easy to get to. The signage everywhere. It's not hard. It'd be extremely difficult to get lost in this place because it's just everything's just so clearly marked everywhere. It's not too high to not be able to like miss it or anything like that, which is great. And then came time to obviously go to boarding, and still even in boarding areas and departures, even if you still wanted to like, pop outside to grab a bit of fresh air before getting on to your connected flight, you can still do that. There's quite a few places there. And so then obviously getting on to the next part, which was flight TR390, which was from Changi in Singapore to Manila. And just yet again, just like with the prior flight from Athens to Singapore, plane arrived on time, everyone was debarked, it was clean, everything was emptied, it was refueled, we got on, the plane left on time, it even arrived in Manila a little bit early, which was nice. And then I had a quite long layover in Manila for I think it was about 10 hours or something like that. So a quite seriously long wait. But then I had to spend most of my time sort of popping outside to get some air because I really don't like Manila Airport. So for my next journey, whenever that may be, I'm looking at every which way possible to avoid Manila Airport. And obviously, I don't know if you've all seen. Obviously, there was that incident in Terminal 3 at Naya, Manila Airport, where it kind of had a massive like brownout, and so many people's flights got seriously delayed. If not, I think some got cancelled. I think, and just seeing this video of like the security staff stopping these people from getting into Terminal 3, and then someone that obviously they were slowly staggering, allowing people to go back in, and you could just see like there was just like no electricity only in certain places, so you can't see like this main part of where Terminal 3 is, and there's like it's a little bit just on the left hand side. There's like a counter where obviously you go to like check in and stuff, and that was like one of the few places that actually had some lights. They completely lost air conditioning, obviously because the power went. and from what the video I could see, and from what other little bits I could see online, they weren't offering them like bottles of water, trying to keep them cool, like explaining things. It's like next to zero, and these poor people were just literally stuck there, and it wasn't like they were getting any kind of explanation to what was going on or anything like that, and if they're going to catch their flight and things like that. And that airport is such a mess. It seriously needs a overhaul from top to bottom. I'd personally believe, and I seriously like, if you're going somewhere in the Philippines, try and dodge that website if or put a website, that airport at all possible. It's just not a good airport. And if you're determined to go to Manila, try to go into Clark if possible, because like I've heard that quite a bit better. It's a lot more awkward to get to because everything tries to take you through Manila Airport for some reason. I don't understand why. And just lastly on that, if any of you guys have actually flown with Scoot before, hit sort of the comment down below. Let us know about your personal experience and see how it went with you. Because personally, on my first experience with Scoot, considering it is the budget arm of Singapore Airlines, I would happily recommend them. And also, actually, before I forget, actually on the plane itself, like you actually got quite a bit more leg room than I was anticipating, considering it was a budget airline. So that was kind of nice. I did get quite a bit of sleep on the leg from Athens to Singapore. I'm trying to think how long the flight from Singapore to Manila was. I think it's about 4 hours and something or other. That wasn't so bad, and obviously, like I had a lot of time where I had to waste in Manila Airport, and yeah, no, and just finally, that's pretty much the majority of the leg the way there. The next video is probably going to be quite a bit shorter because it's just a internal flight from Manila to Tacloban with Cebu Pacific. So I just have to do a little shorter video tomorrow for that one, and then stay tuned for the return leg, which will be covering Air Asia, the return with Scoot from Manila to Athens, and the little episode we had with Scoot and Ryanair on the way back, and Ryanair's flight from Athens to London Luton. So stay tuned for all of that. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you like what you see and would like to see more, please don't hesitate to check out any of our other videos. Please leave us a like, drop us a comment down below to let us know what you think about this new little mini series, and then please share the video around with anyone that you think you might like, who might like to watch it. Please smash the subscribe button. We appreciate all the support at the moment. We absolutely love all of you guys. And tap the bell icon so we don't miss a video. And we'll catch you in the next one, guys.